past. The decks had been crowded. The sea found the weak point. The ship also showed daily life. There were wooden toys. There were carved spoons. There were faces painted on a barrel. Soldiers left notes in the wood. Letters told of fear before the fight. The ship solved a technical cause. It gave a human story to the numbers. But in a dark corner of the hull, a rusted tool had a name carved on it. The name was not of a common sailor. It was short. It might be a captain. Did the name hold the key to a final choice made in panic? The ship had solved the way it sank. But who made the last shout? A small iron sub slipped below the waves. It hit an enemy ship. It did what few had done. It disappeared for over a century. No one knew why. The hull lay in mud for years. Men found the metal shell in shallow water. The bones of the crew were inside. The sub had tools and pumps. The men had photos and letters. The metal had markings from battle. Scientists opened the case with care. They studied blasts and hull bends. They checked the airspace. They looked for signs of an explosion. There were marks on the outer plates. There were dents like the memory of a blow. The find solved part of the puzzle. The sub had attacked a lost ship and got away. But it later failed. Theories flew. Maybe the blast from its own weapon hit it. Maybe the sub filled with water by mistake. Maybe the crew passed out from lack of air. The raised hull let scientists test ideas in labs. They found clues in a bent frame and in the last moves of the crew. Inside the sub, notes and charts told of bravery and fear. One scrap of paper had a name. It named a sailor. The find returned lost men to history. The sub became a place to touch the past. It showed the first breaths of underwater war. Still, one small piece puzzled them. A sealed hatch held a carved token. The token had an odd mark. It did not match the Navy. Who had left it there? The sub gave many answers. Yet the token carried a name from a private life still unknown. A French ship sailed into a strange shore. Men meant to found a colony. The ship grounded and broke. The sea took the cargo. The colony faded from maps. Later, people argued over where the colony stood. Centuries passed. Men searched river mouths and marshes. They dug and read old maps. Then a hull turned up in mud. Brass cannons lay beside carved timbers. Clay pipes and trade goods were there. The cargo told of a colonist's last days. The ship's items gave clues. The goods showed the colony had trade plans. Coins told of who paid the voyage. Tools showed the kinds of work intended. The ship's angle in the mud showed how it grounded. The timbers had scrapes from rocks. The ship solved the question of where the colony was. It fixed a point on the map that had been lost. Archaeologists found a basket with seeds. They found signs of a nearby camp. The objects matched notes from a lost captain's letter. The site answered where the men tried to start life. It answered which river they used. The ship was a key to a map that had been missing for ages. Yet one small leather tag had strange letters. They did not match the usual names. The tag hinted at a code used by men who feared others. Why did they hide words in leather? The ship had solved the map. But why hide a secret name? A ship hit rocks off a lonely coast. The survivors made a camp on small islands. Then the horror began. Men killed men. Greed and power turned a wreck into a slaughter. For years, the true story was told in handwritten guilt and rumor. But part of the truth remained in the sea. The wreck lay under sand. Pieces stuck out like bones. In time, men found the timbers and the broken cargo. They found tools, coins, and a board with names. The finds matched old court records. They showed where the mutineers hid and where the victims fled. Archaeologists dug and found a small, carved box. In it were personal items. A mother's amulet. A child's bone whistle. The objects gave faces to the lost. The wreck solved questions in the old records. It proved how far the men fled. It proved which stories were true. In the wreck's hold lay a ledger with marks. The ledger had the ship's stores tallied. The marks showed greed. The ledger told who controlled food. It answered why chaos began. Men had power. Men hoarded food after the wreck. That hunger fed the violence. But the sea kept a stranger. A bone had a mark made by a rare tool. The tool's owner might have been from a far island. Who was this visitor on that night of murder? The wreck solved the map of guilt. Yet one stray mark hinted at a hand no one counted.